Howdy folks, welcome to another beautiful summer's day out here in West Vancouver. So today's video is a big one. I'm making some big changes in my life and I thought I would share it with you because I haven't actually been talking to you as much as I used to. So here goes. First things first, I am starting a mobile tire service on the North Shore. What that means is we've got a nice beautiful van, we've got tire equipment in it, and when you need to change your tires, you don't need to head down to a tire shop and make an appointment at some weird time of the day. We're going to come out to where you are, whether it's at your work or at your house, and we're going to come sort out your tires there for you. But we will get to that a little bit later. First, I want to tell you why we are here and where we are at the moment in our lives, I suppose. You know, the main thing is, if you're an immigrant and you're coming from a third world country or a country with a much weaker currency than the Western world or than the dollar, you would understand what I'm saying when I say that Canada has a way of chewing through your savings really quickly. You can come with millions of rands from South Africa, but that millions of rands, $1 million in South Africa is, I guess, probably about $70,000. It's not a lot of money over here. And, of course, the thing is, here in Canada, things are expensive. Rent is expensive. Cost of living is expensive. The immigration process is expensive. There's all these things that just keeps on piling up. So, on a good day, you kind of break even and you kind of have to dip into your savings a little bit. But when you start dipping into your rand savings with Canadian expenses, it goes pretty quickly. And while we had some decent savings when we arrived in Canada, we've now gotten to the stage where things are starting to become critical and we have to make a change. So that was one leg of the problem. The second leg of the problem was when I arrived here, I was publishing the coffee table books and we were doing well. Books were going all around the world. We employed staff and I wanted to start growing the business. But the reality is, and the matter of the fact, no matter how you look at it, is that people don't read books anymore. Books has become a thing of the past, and even now even with AI more so, because people are now, there's more, the AI is now actually also competing for the attention span that books normally would have had. So it is not that simple anymore. Books they're dying out, unfortunately. And while we still have a couple of projects and we still have a few things that are going well and there's some new opportunities and the core of the book business is still good, it's just unfortunately not strong enough to be a full business anymore. The reality is that it is just not there. And then, of course, I suppose the global geopolitical system is also not working very well at the moment. There's a definite swing. I see it from the whole open globalism where everybody's kumbaya dealing with everybody to where it's now much more of a closed system where people are more protective. And then, of course, also trying to do business through the world. We're trying to publish some books in Europe and we've got a couple of projects there, but it's becoming harder and harder through some of the legislation, and there's so many hoops that you need to jump through and so many different taxes, and it's just become a big problem. So I had to revamp the business. Honestly, it's a great business, the publishing business, but it's just not sustainable the way we had it with expenses and taking money. So over the last year and a half, I've not really taken much of a salary. Neither me or my partner have taken much of a salary out of the publishing business. So, we kind of revamped it a little bit now and took a step back and made it a project basis business, which will work a lot better, because what it means now is when we find a nice project, we do the project, we have profit on the project and we distribute the project. But the problem with that is that there is now no more salaries, no more fixed income, and now I need to find something else to do. Which brings me to where I'm at. Now, those of you that have been following me for a long time know that, I've had a bunch of ideas, whether it's a brewery and I'm going to do this, and I've got the little South African shop and I was very involved in the community. Now, all of those were great. But it is not necessarily good money-making projects. Now, I have considered looking for a job. The reality is, though, that, I haven't worked for a boss since I was I guess about 23 and I'm now 55 almost. So, you know, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not good at working for a boss. I'm an entrepreneur. I do my own thing and I'm always busy trying new things. So, to where we are now, the mobile tire service. This has come on my radar a little while ago when I saw that there's a mobile tire service out there, and when I had to do my tire change again from from winter tires to summer tires, which I still haven't done, because when it was time to do it, I made the phone call and it was like, yeah, we can see you in 2 weeks on Tuesday at 11 o'clock. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense, man. And for those of you that live on the North Shore that have done those tire changes, you know, it's like, I must admit, there are some companies that are good and efficient and fast, but 90% of these people the service just sucks. It's like, I mean, I used Canadian Tire, and then I go to Canadian Tire, I can phone them and they go, hey, you can come that day. And then when you arrive there, they're like, okay, just drop your stuff, drop your car, and it will take an hour or two. We'll let you know. Sit and wait. And then you sit and wait. But that's not all. When you arrive there, you're standing by the counter like a tit, just waiting there going, because the guy's busy, and then 5 or 7 minutes later, most of the time they don't even acknowledge you. They just like, you know, carry on, and then, yeah. So it's just not a fun experience, all right? And then they charge you $180 to do your 4 tires. So I just thought, that sucks. And then I saw these mobile tire services and I thought, well, that is a great idea. That is something that I can get stuck in. It's kind of a different avenue, which is something I've also done throughout my life. Every 10 or so years, I would pick a new industry, try something different. Not that I have no tire experience. We used to run a service station back in South Africa, in Kennard in the Northern Cape, and we had a tire section there. So, I mean, I dealt with tires. I know tires. I know, you know, I can do it. Anyway, so long story short, I looked at that tire service business and I thought, this is a great opportunity for the North Shore. It's something physical, it's something that gets me out of the house, and I do think that there's a huge need for great service. Anyway, so that's where we are right now. We are actually a little bit further down the road, so let me go and show you my van. All right, so we're heading out. Initially, I was looking at buying into a tire franchise business out of the US. I mean, the guys have good numbers and it looked like a really decent franchise. But the unfortunate reality is that the prices were just a little bit too high. You know, it was going to cost me $95,000 or $100,000 to fit the van and kit it out with all of the equipment, and then you had to pay a franchise fee of like 7.5% and stuff like that, and that was just a little bit too much. So I was actually down the path with these guys, and part of it was getting myself a new van to run the mobile tire service business, and this is it. It's my brand new Ford Transit extra length high roof van. But then last minute, I decided not to go with the franchise, not to go the franchise route, because there was a couple of other rules that I was also, you know, not convinced that it's the right way to do it. I am officially looking for something that, you know, that I can run and that I can get very much stuck in and that I have control over. So, long story short, I ended up buying the van to go with this franchise, and then decided last minute not to go with the franchise. So now I've got this beautiful new Ford Transit van, and I'm going to be building it out myself. It's going to be an interesting trip because, you know, this is, there's a lot more to it than you would anticipate. The thing is, in order to turn this into a mobile tire service van, I need to, I mean, when I got the van, it's blank like this. So we need to put walls in, we need to put a floor in. The equipment, it's funny, there's a lot of equipment that you need. Main equipment is a tire service, a tire changing machine. Now, you know, you can buy them over here. You can buy the Chinese makes over here, and they cost roughly probably about from 15 to 20, well, I guess 10 to $15,000, but it's not exactly the ones that I want. And then you can buy the American-made ones, and they go for $30,000 to $40,000, so that's a little bit steep. So I ended up ordering some from China. Of course, dealing with the people on Alibaba with the time difference and everything is also not simple. So that was a little bit of a freak out, like spending hours and hours online late at night to try and figure out what's the right equipment, and you've got the language barriers. But I think I've got the right machines right now. I've got two machines. I've got a tire changer and I've got a balancer coming in from China. Now this is the fun thing, you know, you can buy those things in China for like 2,000 US dollars. So what's that? 2,800 Canadian dollars. The problem is getting it here, because that's obviously, if I decided on doing this earlier, it would have been great, because I could, if I decided on doing this earlier, it would have been great, because I could have then shipped them by sea, which cost next to nothing. But because I'm running a little bit late and I really am bargaining on this new, well, I guess, on the tire changing season coming up right now, and that really starts from about the 1st of September onwards, slowly. By the 1st of October, if you drive on the highways, you need to have your winter tires on. So I don't have a lot of time. I don't have 30 to 45 days for ocean shipping. So that means I now need to send these things over by express. So I paid $2,800 for the machines, and I'm paying $6,000 to fly them over here, which is still significantly cheaper than I could have bought them here for. So the machines are ordered, that's on the way. There's a whole bunch of other things, but I'm not going to bore you with all of those details in this video. There's another video where I will go through the build out, and I will actually, I promise I'll be uploading more regular videos, take you through the journey, because there's still a few things that I'm going to have to figure out. You know, there's a whole bunch of rules and regulations. So one of the things that I need to figure out is this equipment, I need to get them fitted into the truck in a way that is safe and according to the specifications and the rules from the ICBC, because, you know, the thing is that tire changing machine is quite heavy, so I need to reinforce the floor and I need to connect it to the chassis, but if you do that wrong, you void the warranty. So whole bunch of things, but luckily that's why we have the internet and why we have our AI friends that can help us do that research. And then of course I also have a great network, so if there's any one of you out there that has experience in doing something like that, please reach out and let me know, because it's gonna be fun. Anyway, I decided to do it all myself, and I will take you along on the journey. And then the point is, today is the 30th of July 2025, and I need to have this van ready by the latest the 15th of September 2025 to start running it. Now there's a couple of things. Now, so there's number one, there's the build out of the van, getting the van ready with all of the equipment. I've spent a lot of time on that, and we've got equipment coming in from everywhere. And then we have to do the build. The second part is getting the website ready and getting the brand ready, because we can start taking bookings earlier on, so we can start doing the marketing. And for the marketing, I really want to be ready within about that. I have to have ready by the 1st of September. I need to have the van branded, I need to have the website up, I need to have all of that done. So there's a bunch of loose ends everywhere that we need to pull together, and I have to get them ready before the big tire change season, because this is what's going to make it or break it for us. So anyway, I just thought I'd let you know where we are, what we are doing right now, and take you on this new journey. Now, while I know it's not exactly along the How's It Canada journey and the whole South African community journey, it's all part of my journey moving to Canada, and it's all part of real life, I suppose. It is what it is, right? So let's see if I make it. Let's see if it works out. I am going to set up another little channel called Mobile Pit Crew, because that's what we're calling the business. We're calling it Mobile Pit Crew. And the idea is we are your mobile pit crew. You know, it's all about service. It's all about getting stuff done fast, efficient, and right. You know, like a Formula One pit crew. They can't screw up. They can't muck around. They have to get things done efficiently, fast, and well. So that is what we're going for. That's our brand. On the new channel, I will talk more about businessy stuff. So in other words, how to check your tires and things like that, where to buy your tires and things like that on this. Okay, so it turns out it is such a hot day out here in Vancouver that the camera died. So sorry for the abrupt cut off there, but let's just finish it. I think the point I wanted to make was that on this channel, I'm going to talk about the journey, and I'm going to take you through the journey. And on the Mobile Pit Crew channel will be more tire related and business related around this. On this channel, we are going to build out everything, and I'm going to report in daily because it's part of keeping me honest. So if I don't put a video up and you are following the journey, shout at me because I need it. All right, folks, you all must have an absolutely beautiful day, and we will follow up tomorrow. I'll tell you where we stand.